tornado watches off to our north and to our west. The severe weather threat continues for us later tonight. We'll have the details in your forecast coming up.
It's round 2 for the South. Tornadoes continue to rip through the nation's bottom half, raising the death toll and the amount of damage left behind. Tonight we'll take you through the affected areas. Good evening and welcome to coverage you can count on at 5:30. I'm sure Renee, thanks so much for joining us this evening. The chaos continues tonight as a new round of deadly tornadoes rips through the South, reducing neighborhoods to rubble. At least 35 people are dead. People in Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia all realizing what happened as the cleanup effort begins. Right now, Georgia Power is estimating 82 people without power in Muskogee County. Alabama Power reports 1,000 people without electricity in Salem and another 1,000 in Seal and Smith Station at last check before the newscast. Sunlen Sarfati has a roundup of the destruction across the Southeast in our top story.
There's cars that have been tossed.
Portions of the South are bracing for yet another round of severe weather. 75 million Americans lay in the storm's path, many of whom are recovering after 2 days of torrential rain, heavy winds, and tornadoes.
The moment of death was just an inch away.
Storms ripped through parts of Mississippi on Monday, causing severe damage, according to the governor. A state of emergency is in effect.
Our porch fell in, the windows broke, and me and my kids was off to the room next to the tree.
Here in the small town of Tupelo, homes and businesses were destroyed, down power lines, leaving many without electricity.
Certainly a tragic day here. We're trying to assess the damage and just find out where we go from here.
In Lincoln County, Tennessee, an elementary school is left almost unrecognizable after high winds caused portions of the ceiling to collapse onto empty classrooms. And near Athens, Alabama, 2 people were killed in a trailer park. Those who made it through the night described the tense moments.
It just started roaring. Wind was blowing. We heard it coming.
For these residents and others, many left without their homes, a sense of perspective.
We survived. That's all I can say.
Well, Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid joins us now. And Derek, the storm hit hard and fast this morning, waking us all up across the valley. Is the worst all over, or do we need to prepare for another round?
Well, that was round 1, what we had this morning that caused all the damage. Round 2 is what we're kind of tracking now. There's tornado watches to our north and to our west, and those storms will be tracking in our direction. There is more uncertainty, though, with this round of severe weather, so perhaps not quite as bad, but of course it only takes one storm to be a big deal for you, and the folks in Salem and Smith Station can attest to that today. Many areas did not have severe weather across the valley today, but it only takes one storm.
That's right. Now, the damage in East Alabama is still being labeled as a possible tornado. Why can't we call it that right now?
Well, by all accounts, there likely very much was a tornado in Lee County, based on radar data, based on some of the assessment that I've done of the damage so far. But to make that official, our friends at the National Weather Service come down, they look at the path, they judge the wind speed, the kind of damage, how wide the path was, how long the path was, and they make the official designation. That's right. So that's why we have to keep saying possible tornado or likely tornado, but by all accounts, it probably was a tornado. Yeah.
Especially for those people whose houses were hit. They're thinking, well, what really was it?
Absolutely. And, you know, we're watching things closely tonight because back to our north and west, here's where we're looking at new tornado watches for Alabama and Mississippi. Similar to yesterday, this is warning for the possibility of bad weather, but so far, no tornado warnings. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of the Magnolia State and back down across South Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. No tornado warnings now. That's great news. We just haven't seen the warm, unstable air like we had in place yesterday, but we still have plenty of storms out there, and we're going to be tracking these over the course of the next couple of hours. Here's your evening planner. Rain and storms perhaps beginning as early as 8 or 9 o'clock, but this weather threat will continue overnight and early Wednesday as well. Hey, if you want your chance to win a weather radio, here's your key word today, Storm Team 9. Text that to 40909, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win a weather radio. The winner will be announced on Wednesday, and this is one of those programmable weather radios. This is one of the good ones for you, so text Storm Team 9 to 40909. Cheryl, back to you.
With all the severe weather going on, it's important to stay connected. News Leader 9 has several ways to keep you updated on what's happening right now in your area. There is the WTVM mobile app where you can find all of the day's top stories, including weather information. The Storm Team 9 weather app is especially good right now in case your power goes out. You can actually hear our weathercast on your phone. Also, you can stay connected on Facebook and Twitter by following WTVM. We are also posting and tweeting the latest information there. The early morning storms have left people without homes in one Lee County community. News Leader 9's Annie Hubble kicks off our team coverage of severe weather. She explains how they are coping and banding together to find relief.
82-year-old Willie Trevin walks through what is left of his home on Lee Road 205 after a suspected tornado touched down around 5 o'clock this morning near Smith Station.
I heard the weather was getting bad and I wanted the coffee. I was kind of restless and I come got the coffee made. I didn't even get a sip off of it. And I heard this noise and I'm headed for that pantry right there. I got in there and that's where I stayed.
Trevin clung to this refrigerator, crouched on the ground, never believing that in a couple of minutes the roof above him would be torn away.
You can do a lot of thinking in that time.
Trevin's son came to get him a short time later, and even though it was dark, both realized his home of 43 years was a total loss.
I could see this was by the lightning. This earth was full of trash. And so I took step by step as a flash of lightning.
Every home along Lee Road 205 suffered some sort of damage from this morning's storms. Roofs were caved in by fallen trees, and the winds were strong enough to pick up this motorhome and drop it on a pickup truck.
Yeah, it surprised me. But everybody's okay, that's the main thing.
And the remarkable thing that only minor injuries have been reported after the storms this morning in all of East Alabama.
This is the aftermath, so trying to just get everything back together and get everything back in one piece.
Now a community pulls together in the aftermath to help clean up what Mother Nature has left behind.
Now, even with all this devastation, this community has really banded together to help each other out. We were here earlier. 2 people pulled up and said, hey, we just bought chainsaws. Where do you need us? It really is amazing. Now, as Derek said, we are expecting some more severe weather later tonight. So please take precaution because, as you can see behind me, the threat is real. Reporting live in Lee County, Annie Hubble, WTVM, News Leader 9.
All right. Thanks, Annie. We're continuing team coverage in the East Alabama area. News Leader 9's Brittany Dion is in Salem where cleanup has begun. Brittany, you spoke with one woman who says she credits technology for saving her life.
Absolutely, Cheryl. This is the part of the roof of that house you see right there with the roof completely missing. If you take a look at that house, believe it or not, it used to have a carport there. I spoke with the woman that lived in that home. She says she was home alone with just her pets when her cell phone started blaring with the severe weather alert. She says she only had minutes to jump up and get to her safe place before the tornado or perceived tornado came straight through her backyard and tore her house apart. Luckily, she suffered no injuries. She is okay. She says that she just is happy to be here today and she's shocked that she is here today. We spoke to several people in the neighborhood who just say that they can replace the material things, but they are happy that no one was fatally injured in this storm. Now, I spoke to several insurance agents who say it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to put this community back together. But as you can see, the cleanup, it continues through the afternoon. I also spoke with authorities who say they are collecting the numbers right now to tell us exactly a dollar amount on how much it's going to cost to get this community back together. But right now we're thinking it's going to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. For now, I'm live in Salem. Brittany Dion, WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, thank you, Brittany. More than a dozen mobile homes in the area along Highway 169 are in pieces tonight after strong winds ripped through Salem and Crawford, Alabama this morning. News Leader 9's Tyrone McCoy was there all morning. He joins us live now from Crawford Baptist Church, where many are seeking shelter. Tyrone, the shelter is actually a Red Cross relief effort, correct?
Yeah, that's right, Cheryl. Now, there definitely have people who have started filing in, and a lot of donations have started filing in. But I'm going to bring in a Red Cross volunteer to tell me a little bit about those efforts for the folks here in Lee and Russell counties. Come on, Mr. Payne, can you join me for a second? So tell me about what you guys are planning to do for the folks that have been affected and the folks who could be a little nervous about the weather that could be coming into this area?
Well, what we plan to do is to provide shelter here in Crawford for the people and for the ones already been affected by the tornado, and also the ones that possibly affected later on this evening by the tornado.
Now, how many people will the shelter be able to seat and house and feed?
For right now, we got it set up for 50 people possibly in the shelter, but we can go as many as 150, and we'll probably be feeding around 100 plus, as many as we'll be able to serve as many people to come in to the shelter.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Payne, for that. So, folks, again, this is not just for anyone who was affected today, although those folks who have been displaced are encouraged to come on out to the Crawford Baptist Church here in downtown Crawford, Alabama. But it's also for the folks who could be in fear of the type of weather that can be inclement tonight. So please come on down to Crawford Baptist Church if you feel like there's anything that you need or may need. So now, live in Crawford, Alabama, Tyrone McCoy, WTVM News Leader 9. Back to you, Cheryl.
All right, thanks so much, Tyrone. When severe weather hits and you happen to be on the road, we have a few tips to keep you safe. Tune into your radio to stay informed of the weather. Turn your headlights on low beam and slow down. Allow extra distance for braking. If it's raining really hard, pull safely onto the shoulder of the road away from any trees that could fall on your vehicle. Stay in the car and turn on the emergency flashers until the heavy rains subside. Avoid flooded roads and downed power lines. If you see a tornado, never try to outdrive it. Get out of your vehicle and get inside a nearby building. If there's no time to get indoors, get out of the car and lie in a ditch or low-lying area away from the vehicle. For more ways to prepare for severe weather, go to our severe weather tab on WTVM.com. Coming up, coverage you can count on will continue on the news at 5:30. Here are some pictures sent in to us by viewers of damage around the Chattahoochee Valley. You can share yours with us by emailing them to pics, that's PIX, at WTVM.com. We'll be right back.